question is that the motion be agreed to, and I call the member for Forrest.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I want to acknowledge the member for Barker for bringing forward this motion to the House this evening. And I am also calling on the government to rule out the proposed increase in the heavy vehicle road user charge, because if it goes ahead, the tax increase would affect nearly every owner, operator and transport business right around not just my southwest but the whole of Australia. It will push up the cost of living even further for families and increase the cost of doing business and increase the risk to our transport and logistics operators. For those that may not be aware, my father was a pioneer of transport, cartage and earth moving in the southwest, and my broader family is still deeply involved with the transport sector. So it's something that I have a lot of interest in and a direct passion for. And, Deputy Speaker, a 10% annual increase, when we consider there's 60,000 small and family-owned businesses operating already on really tight margins, with, as we've heard previously, the average transport business having 5 trucks and being a small business, and they cannot pass on those increased costs. And this is not about safe rates. As one of the operators that sent me an email said, look, the government's overlooking the impact that this will have on remote areas, where quite often, and this is something that not everybody understands, the value of the transport is more than the value of the product. And whether that's fruit and vegetables into remote areas and stores, communities would be seriously disadvantaged. And that's often overlooked, and I think it's been overlooked by this government in looking at this particular issue. When you look at Wyndham, for instance, where the freight forwarders are simply not sending food that is not a high profit margin for them. So we end up with basically fruit and vegetables disadvantaged to the chicken and chips on each load. So that is of no good for individuals. And I had another email as well, and this is from a small operator. We're in the transport business, and I know that if you put this 10-cent levy on the tax, the fuel tax, a lot of small businesses like mine and multiple others will not be able to cope with another tax. I think we pay enough tax already by our registrations and insurances and multiple other things that we have to pay. And we are finding it hard enough to deliver goods around Australia, especially around Western Australia. You'll find that if this 10 cents goes on, there will be a lot of companies that will not be able to survive this, which will up the cost of, to everyone else of things getting delivered, and that really says it all, Deputy Speaker. And I just want people who are listening and maybe watching to think about, for instance, your breakfast. To grow that, actually, if you're having a cereal, the fertiliser and grain comes on the back of a truck. To cart the grain from the farm to the processor is on the back of the truck, and then the same to a small manufacturer or a supermarket or a distribution centre on a truck. With milk, the milk that goes on your cereal, my farm operates on fertiliser and feed carted by and cattle carted by a truck. The milk goes in a refrigerated truck to the processor and then onto the supermarket once it's been manufactured. So that's only breakfast, and that's just cereal. So before I finish, for every truck driver that's out there, just know there's a lot of us in this place who are as passionate as you are about this industry and really respect and value what you do day and night. And I know very well about the long-distance truck drivers, the B-doubles and road trains. The work you do is extraordinary. And my dad always said there were 2 types of truck drivers. There were drivers and there were operators. And he said, well, a driver will hang on to the wheel and the operator will care about the machine, the truck, and look after it so that when it comes back it's in mint condition as much as they can manage. So to all of the operators out there, I say thank you very much, and I'm well and truly in your court. I respect what you do, and I know that my colleagues on this side of the House who've had a lot of experience in this space respect that as well. But can I also really thank those small operators, the very small operators who are small businesses who often find it very difficult, some of our livestock transporters and others, who find it very difficult to operate in very remote communities, but they keep doing the work we need them to do to keep Australia moving, and I thank them very much for their efforts. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
I thank the member for Forrest.